WTF, Gibson, what were you thinking? It is 2019 and I cannot believe that myself and thousands others are sitting here defending the Gibson Firebird X. Here I am, one of your biggest fanboys. Look, I mean, I am a huge fanboy. I'm wearing all this ridiculousness. All these things are pulled out to show how much of a fanboy I am of you guys. I will always be a fanboy of Gibson. People on the internet in droves are defending the Firebird X because you guys thought it was a good idea to run over 200, 250 possibly Firebird X's that you claim were unusable, unplayable, unsalvageable. For those of you that are not familiar, the Firebird X is one of the worst guitars ever released. It was released back in 2011, back when Henry Juskowitz was the CEO and president of Gibson. At some point in the middle 2000s to the 2010 and on, Henry went off his rocker and just started doing crazy stuff. You can't deny that the man did wonderful stuff by purchasing the company in the middle 80s, and the stuff that he did in the 90s and the early 2000s were all good stuff for Gibson. But somewhere in the middle 2000s to late 2010, he lost it. No one's gonna defend him from that point forward, okay? The Firebird X is not a defendable guitar, but taking a heavy piece of equipment and running over it is a terrible idea. This guitar was supposed to destroy all the guitars and be the new guitar. It was not. Everybody unanimously hated this guitar. But here are 3 things that they could have done with the Firebird X that would have been a way better option than taking a heavy piece of equipment and running over hundreds of these guitars. 1, they could have taken all these guitars, sent them to different artists throughout the nation, throughout the world, and had them make art pieces out of it, similar to what they did when they made these guitars all throughout the cities in Austin and I think they did it in Houston, and Memphis, and Nashville, and Chicago, all kinds of places. They put these Gibson art pieces all over the place. Well, not necessarily doing that exact same thing, but they could have made art pieces, display them, and then sell them for charity and profit. To use that money to help their Gibson Foundation, etc., to donate more guitars or donate for music programs. That would have been one great thing they could have done with it, rather than running over them and destroying them. Number 2, they could have taken, if these truly were dead guitars, let's call them cadaver guitars, they could have donated them to the doctors of the guitar world, the luthiers, all the different lutherie schools throughout the nation, throughout the world, and made a big old plaque out of it and said, here, you guys are going to be the future. You're going to be the ones making guitars for the future of the world. Don't make this guitar. Don't make the mistake that we did, and don't go down this road. Do something else. Get creative, but don't make the Firebird X. Or they could have said, okay, on this particular guitar, the neck is so out of whack. Can you unglue it and fix it? Look, if they are ungluing guitars from the 30s, the 20s, and they are resetting all these guitars and doing the amazing stuff that you see people do on the internet, I mean, just watch a Stu Mac video. They can fix whatever is wrong with these guitars to make them donatable and playable. 3, this is what they truly should have done. They should have made an awesome PR piece out of this. They should have started it off with making fun of themselves and saying, look, we all know the Firebird X was unanimously hated. We hated it too. And they could have even had people in the factory talking about how they hated making it, whatever. We're gonna take these guitars. We have all these that never sold, for whatever reason. Well, they're truly defective. And we're gonna take the creative teams at Gibson and we're just gonna let them go crazy with it. And we're gonna remove all the parts out of it, the robot tuners, the silly pickups that don't work unless you have a battery and all the effects and all that stuff. And we're gonna come up with creative things and do with these guitars and make something new out of it, make it a new playable guitar. They could have remade 250 unique pieces of guitar that they took out of those Firebird X's, made something new out of it, and sold or donated those guitars. You know those guitars were repairable. Everything's repairable. I don't believe that they were unplayable. They didn't even remove the hardware from any of these guitars. But they should have made a fun PR piece of making new guitars out of this, and they probably would have had a hit doing that. I love Gibson, but I did not love this moment. Again, I am flabbergasted that I'm sitting here, 2019, and I am defending the Firebird X. Let's learn from this, and let's do better things as a guitar community. And that means Gibson, everybody, all the manufacturers. Let's do some really cool stuff. Let's collaborate together and let's make some really cool guitars in the future maybe not a Firebird X.